loves, it's your girl DeeDee, and welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. So I am back with another reaction video. This comes from a woman who says this is the worst type of man. So she's talking about the alleged worst type of man. So I want to hear what she's saying. Make sure you chime in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. So we're gonna jump right into this video though, y'all. Let's see what she's saying. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna stop talking. Here we go.
Worst thing is a man who has money but is cheap and stingy. He is worse than a broke man. Next caller. Because even though he has finally got himself to a financial status, that means he didn't manage to change his mindset. And if you get in a serious relationship with this kind of man, he's definitely going to be stingy to you in other aspects as well. God forbid you decide to have a kid with that kind of man. Oh my goodness. Look, there's only one life to live and you can't take your money to the grave with you. So nobody got time to deal with a man who got money but is stingy and cheap. Nope. Next call.
All right, so y'all heard what she had to say. Definitely chime in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. So she's saying the worst type of man is a man with money but is cheap and stingy. I swear you would think that you're talking to children, not grown, successful, educated women. You would think that you're talking to children. Like this, she said he would have to change his mindset. No, baby girl, I think you would have to change your mindset. Because let me tell you this, and I think women don't fully understand, listen, I'll say this. Some women understand what it takes to earn a dollar, what it takes to make money and build yourself up when they have to do it. When they're the ones working, when they're the ones making the bread and they're out here being these independent boss chicks, don't need no man. They know what it takes to get them, build themselves up, and work up the ladder and build themselves up. They understand it when it comes to them doing it. This is why they don't want to share their money. This is why women don't want to go 50-50. They want to make all their money and keep their money, and they want you to spend all yours. So when it comes to a man having to get out here and work and build himself up and work hard every single day and save his money and buy a house and do whatever it is that he wants to do with his money, these women don't understand what it takes for a man to have to work hard and build himself up. And when he does, you want to call him stingy? If he's had to work his whole life to build something up for himself, to establish himself to a certain point, you think that it's okay for this man to just go out here and just spend his money recklessly because you think that's what he should be doing? And he needs to change his mindset and become what? A spender and spend everything he's worked hard for on you so you can keep yours? And then when he's broke, you run off and leave him for somebody to try to do the same things to somebody else? No, ma'am, Miss Pam. It doesn't work like that. That would sound like a fool to fall for something like that. If anything, you would be the worst type of woman, in my opinion. You would be the red flag. You would be the woman that I would tell him to stay away from and run away from, because all you're going to do is suck him dry. You're going to be a financial vampire. You're going to drain him dry of everything that he's worked hard for. You could care less. In the end, when he doesn't have anything less, you're not going to come out your purse with your hard-earned money and help him out and help him build himself back up after you done drained him dry. You're not going to do that. So why would any man in his right mind allow a woman to drain him dry of everything he's worked hard for, knowing that she's not going to be there for him? She's not going to support him. She's not going to give him part of her money. She's not going to help take care of him when he's spent all his money on her. No, she's going to go out and look for somebody else who she can do the same thing to. So no, if anything, if you find a man who's frugal with his money, it doesn't necessarily mean he's stingy. He's frugal because he knows what it takes to earn a dollar and how hard it was for him to build himself up. So why would he just splurge it all on you and knowing that you're not even there to support him if he fall on hard times? Come on, make it make sense. These women don't understand what men have to go through in order to build themselves up and get to a certain point in life. You just see the money and you want to spend it. Oh, he's stingy. Oh, we have kids. No, I'm pretty sure any man who has kids, they're going to make sure that their children are good. They're going to take care of their children. They're not going to just spend like these women want to spend every day, every week. You want to take trips. You want to go on a trip every week. You want to spend on Birkin bags and all these things that are unnecessary all day, but you don't want to use your money. You want him to spend all his money. Make that make sense, baby. Those days are over. These men aren't fools. They're hip to the games that a lot of these women have been playing, and they're not going to do it. This is why they're not spending their money on these women like that. They're not out here cash apping you just to date you. They're not doing it because some of these women are financial vampires. And let's make it clear. And I know people don't like when I say sometimes, but we got to differentiate from the women who are like this way and the women who are not, because every woman is not out here like this. Every woman is not a financial vampire, just like every man is not a deadbeat. Okay, so we got to distinguish between the two. Every woman is not like this, just like we don't have every man is not a horrible man like they like to make it seem. So we got to know that there are some good women who don't think like this, but for the ones who speak like this, they're the walking red flags. These are the ones you have to avoid, because she'll have you broke and down and out, and then she gonna walk away. Now it'd be another thing if she turned around and say, you know what, you did spend all this money on me. You know what, I got your back. I've been saving my money here. Let's make it work. Let's do what it do. Let's be smart. You use my money now. No, but they're not gonna do that. And a lot of them are frustrated because they can't find these types of men that they probably have been used to, some of them, who are out here just frivolously spending their money on him, you know, thinking that these women are the prizes and they're so special and oh my God, they're just so great. I need to just empty my bank account on this woman because she's a woman, and oh my God, and like they're so desperate for women. No, they're not doing it. You hear women say this all the time. Oh, men don't treat women the way they used to. They don't run behind. Basically, all you saying is, oh, men don't run behind us like they used to. They're not looking at us like the prize. You know, they're not looking at us like our vagina is 1 in a million. They're looking at us like, girl, bye. Y'all all the same. There's nothing special about that vagina versus that one versus that one. I could do without it. And these women are pressed, and they're hard pressed to find somebody who's going to look at them in that way and be willing to just risk it all for them while they benefit and the man gets nothing in return. So no, men have woken up and they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not being fools for a lot of these women who are just out here to use these men for their finances and for what they can get out of them. No. And if anything, a lot of these women should wake up and realize that that is not where it's at. That is not a cool thing to go out here and try to use somebody for your own gain, because you can't make it by yourself. So you don't really want these men, but you only want to use them for their money or for things that they can buy for you and get for you because you don't want to buy it for yourself. That's not a good thing to do. And then always talking about there aren't any good men out here when you're out here using men left to right. If there aren't any good men, then what are you? These women aren't good women if you're out here using a man and taking advantage of somebody, and you feel the need that this is all men are good for is their financial backing, and you don't really want them for real, but what they can provide for you because you don't want to provide for yourself. Even though a lot of these women claim independent boss chicks, I don't need no man, I can do it all by myself, I'm this, I'm strong, I'm better than a man. But you need a man to use to buy you all this stuff and pay your bills and do all these things. Come on, make it make sense. You know, that's not a good look. That don't make you a better person for trying to use men for your own benefit. That makes you a horrible person, because you wouldn't want a man to do that to you. Just think about it. You wouldn't want somebody to use you for everything that you have. You know, you hear some women complaining about men they've dealt with who did just that. They don't seem to like that. So if you know you don't like it, why would you want to do that to somebody else when you know how it made you feel? So, you know, I just think, once again, like I said, there are good women out here. There are good men. There are some horrible women. There's some horrible men. Women got to accept the fact that all of y'all aren't good. That every woman walking is not a good woman, and all of them walking don't have good intentions for men. Just like there are men out here who don't have good intentions for women, and there are good men out here as well. We got to understand that there's a bit of each. Everything that we talk about in these videos, everything that people talk about when it comes to the gender war and men and women, you got to understand that a little bit of all of this stuff exists. It's not just one side or the other. No, it all exists. There are good men, bad men, good women, bad women. Every woman is not a prize. Every woman is not out here everything in 10 bags of chips. There are a lot of miserable, insufferable, angry, bitter women out here. And there are a lot of feminine, fit, good women who are supportive of their husbands and willing to work with their husbands and support them as well. So you got to understand that there's no one size fits all. There's a lot of different types of people out here. You just got to find the one that works for you, and stop trying to blame men for every darn thing that happens in your life, and stop trying to blame anybody, but take accountability for your actions. If you was in a relationship, if you was the bad person, if you were the one who was the aggressive one, if you were the one who was, doing the things that you shouldn't have been doing, that if that was the case. So accept that. I can respect the person who knows that they're a screw up, and they accept that they're a screw up, and they acknowledge that they know they're a screw up. I can respect you better for being honest, because you can work with that. But when you're being dishonest and you're always shifting the blame, and you're not looking at your actions and you're blaming somebody, there's no working with that, because that person will never accept their own faults. They're always going to find somebody else to blame for their actions. And there's nothing you can do with that, because until you are ready to accept that you're the problem, or you have some fault in something, then, there's no working with you. You can't change. You're going to forever blame everybody, the world, society, the men, the clouds, the moon, the stars, and everybody else for your screw ups. You're going to blame everybody else except yourself. So when you don't have any accountability, that's going to be very difficult for anybody to want to work with you, be around you, or any of it. And this is why you find yourself by yourself, because nobody wants to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else that is always going to be the issue, and nobody wants to always be the brunt of all of your issues. They don't want to be held accountable for the things that you're doing. Nobody wants to be held accountable for somebody else's mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the time, it's your fault, No, you're gonna have to take some accountability. Put your big girl panties on. Understand that you gotta take accountability. If you're gonna point out other people's flaws, you gotta accept your own, baby. Bottom line, no matter who it is, it doesn't have to be a right or a wrong thing. It's just about an accountability, acceptable thing. Understand, accept who you are. Make some changes if you want to be better. That's it. Instead of blaming everybody else for being the worst and not looking at or accepting the things that you've put out there and your part in it. So, I think that's something that a lot of women need to learn, honestly. And it's not, like I said, it's not about bashing women. I'm a woman, and, I've had some of these issues too. This is how I can speak about it. Nobody is perfect, baby. We all have flaws. And I said too, I have some of these same issues. But I acknowledged them, and I was constantly working on them. Nobody's walking around here without any flaws, baby. But if they're saying that, then they're lie. But far too often, we have a bunch of women who act like they're flawless, like they don't have any mistakes. They don't have any things that they need to work on. That's just ridiculous. We're human beings, for God's sake. We're human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. We don't have all the answers. And I accept that myself, that, hey, I have mistakes. I have flaws. There's things I still need to work on. But when you accept that and know that, you can work on them better, as opposed to trying to blame your spouse or anybody else or everybody else for your issues and never acknowledging them. That's too much for people to have to deal with all the time. You can't even say when you was wrong. You can't even apologize. You can't do any of that because you think you're right all the time. Come on now, you're perfect. No, hell no. That's not a perfect soul in this world. We all are flawed, and we all need to work on some issues. So when you couple that with a relationship and another person, you got to understand that y'all both working on yourself. It's not just him. We got too many women out here. You ask them, what's your flaws? Kendra G ask it every week. What's your 3 flaws? And they hard pressed to say what their flaws are. Oh, things that aren't actually flaws, because they don't see themselves. So you have to acknowledge yourself, see yourself, know where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and wherever you're weak, work on them to make them stronger. That way you are a better partner to the person that you're with, or the potential person that you want to be with. You want this man making all this money, 6 figures, 6 feet, 6-pack abs, all of this. Well, how do you measure up? You need to make sure that you're the best fit for the type of man that you say you want. And this is a problem that a lot of women are running into. The men that they want, they don't even measure up. You don't even qualify for that man. And you're not willing to accept the flaws that you have and work on them so that you can qualify for the type of man that you say you want. And the man that you're equivalent to, you think you're better than him when you're really not. And that's the thing I notice with a lot of women. They think that they're better than men. So that they don't feel that they have any need to work on themselves to get better, because they think that they're perfect as is, and you're not. And when men call it out, oh my God, they head spin around. Your head spin around like Reagan from The Exorcist, because you can't believe that he called out something about you. that you know is there, but you don't want to accept that it's there. So he's the problem. Now he's sassy because he called you out for something that's obviously there, but you're pretending that you don't see it because you don't want to accept it and do anything about it. Make that make sense. So once again, these are the type of women you need to run from. Red flags, red horns sticking straight up in the air. Run from these type of women who think that they can just, come into your life and take everything that you've worked hard for, and don't understand that this doesn't come easy, that you have to work hard for what you've accomplished, and you're not going to let somebody come in and call you cheap and just call you, oh, you're just cheap, and that's a problem because you're trying to build on what you've already built or save, or be more mindful of your finances and make sure that your money is there so that you can have something to fall back on as you get older, as opposed to going out just spending all your money on BS, really, because it's a bunch of BS that these women want. Makeup and bags and things. Now I like me a good bag or makeup and all of it, but I understand that those things are not important. They're not important, and you shouldn't be dependent on a man to come in and go broke for stuff that doesn't even bring any value to your lives. And if you're together and if you're married to a man who is frugal, that ought to be a plus, because that means that he's gonna, have your back. That you're gonna be secure when it comes to finances, because he's not just blowing his money every chance he gets. So to have a woman to come in and just want to blow it all, baby, she's the red flag walking. Please avoid these types of women if you want to keep what you have. I'm just saying. So listen, I'm gonna leave it there. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.